Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to be playing Sniper Elite, the board game from Rebellion Unplugged.
And David Thompson and Roger Tankersley.
I have absolutely destroyed Alex in this game, not once, not twice, but literally every time we've played.
That's a lie. It's a blatant, bold-faced lie, I say.
You're going to fall apart,
Do you have
sir.
filmed evidence of those playthroughs?
I have no... This is the first filmed gameplay I know of.
So this is the only
with
one
production copies.
So if I happen
live.
to win the very first playthrough, and I lost every other game, do you think maybe people will be suspicious?
I think people will rightfully understand that you operate better under chaos than I do.
That's you, sir.
What?
That's you.
Am I confused?
We know that.
I do operate better under chaos.
Now I've just put the pressure on. It's very important that I win this game.
You're really good at this type of game puzzle.
Not based on the play so far.
I understand that.
I like that back. That didn't happen. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Boardgame.Co, YouTube channel about board games and all things board games. I like board games. Hopefully I'm good at board games. That will matter today.
Honestly, I'm going into this feeling pretty good. I decimated Alex and Shira just last night. And so, I don't know. I do not see a way that I can lose.
I'm very, 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 very good at games. I think, according to my own stats, I'm very good at games. When it comes to on-camera playthroughs, particularly against Jesse, I don't know what it is. Something about the panic drives him forward versus the panic makes my moves less efficient and I have to maximize my actions into a confined time. He seems to thrive on the idea that strategy has gone out the window and now it's just down to chaos and randomness and sheer luck of the draw.
I understand that you though are so analytical that the moment you sniff out my trace, I'm a bit concerned at what's going to happen.
Well, that's the moment we have to start off with. This will be fun. This will be interesting.
Here's the thing about Alex. He's analytical, he's precise, he knows exactly the moves he wants to make in any of these hidden movement games, and I actually don't like playing against him because he'll hem and haw for way too long. The camera changes that. You, the viewer, change that. You're going to sway the balance of this game in my favor because I thrive in chaos.
Sniper Elite's a hidden movement game. It's a game in which one player is playing as the sniper, parading around the base trying to accomplish objectives, and hopefully do so without being evaded. Meanwhile, the other players, me in this case, have 10 rounds to ensure that he either does not accomplish his objectives or take him down, which involves hitting him twice. It's a classic hidden movement game, a lot of opportunities and moves as far as how you're going to pin someone down, a lot of ways to get out of the pins of the enemy soldiers, lots of consistent stuff with its own tweak on the genre.
Yeah, it's a classic hidden movement game in that sense. The differences here with Sniper Elite, the things that I think make it stand out, is going to be the combination of your zone-based abilities for the different generals that you have, the leaders that get their own special actions but primarily operate within their colored district, and then the combination of my ability to play cards that can literally wipe you off the map. I can shoot you. It's what a sniper does, apparently. I had no idea that was a thing.
There's no way. I know which cards you didn't take. Because I know what you took last game, and I know you don't like to do the exact same thing 2 games in a row.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
You took one card with overlap.
I hate that you know anything about me. That's
we'll see.
all. That's my conclusion at the moment.
We shall see. Now, the last time we tabled Sniper Elite, Jesse sadly won. I say sadly because it's sadly, but we had him pinned, we had him cornered, we had him 100% clear and down, except we didn't, unfortunately. We tracked him most of the way through the entire mission. We knew exactly where he was. We weren't sure if he'd run out on time. We closed down on him, and then literally at the last minute, he finally, for the first time the entire game, managed to do something we thought he didn't. And that was enough for him to win.
Now I'm going to be playing the role of, the sniper. I'll be moving around the map doing my very best to avoid detection and accomplish a few different goals at various different points. I don't know what those goals are yet, because I haven't drawn them up, but in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and get my marching orders. From that point on, it's just a matter of, marking down here on this board, being as secretive as possible, and potentially, if I need, playing some defense or aid cards to confuddle Alex along the way. Alright, so the way the game is going to start is I'm going to be entering the board. I get to take the first set of moves, and I will go ahead and follow through my actual board here so that people can follow along as much as possible. Now, I do want to acknowledge we are playing with
upgraded chips,
deluxeified components. You want to grab that box so people can see what the options are. I believe this is coming to retail in a way that will make this available. I cannot swear by that, but we have deluxeified chips and a few extra miniatures scattered around the board. We do not actually need all of them. in this gameplay. All right, on my turn, I have to start the game, like you said, by entering from one of these 4 locations, but the restriction on me is going to be it cannot be a location for an objective card that I've already drawn. So that means I have to enter through either black, yellow, red, or white. So I just made him leave the room so that I could talk to you about the item cards that I've decided to take. We took Sound Masking. This is going to be a card that's going to allow me to move without him detecting where I am. I took Distraction, which is a rock. This is going to allow me to throw a little pebble and lead his people down the wrong path. Finally, I took an S-Mine, because it's always fun to blow up your opponent. Now, let's go ahead and draw and find out exactly where my missions are going to be. Let's make sure both of those are viable. And we're looking on the board here for, where are they? Where are they? This one. And I'm looking on the board here for this one right here. So, my missions, who goes where? You go there, there, here, and here. He's coming back in. I better be quiet.
The particular map we're playing on is the submarine base. This is a step up from the basic map, adding a few new elements. It's going to have these walkways around the board. These walkways are going to be elevated areas that we have to be mindful of and don't really have adjacency to the regular areas unless you're referring to the various ladders and how you get up them. There's also going to be sectors in terms of how you can move underneath the walkway at certain key points. There's going to be a submarine or a little boat over here off to the side that you can move across these planks towards, but you can't go into the water itself. Past that, it's going to have the same stuff you used to on the other boards, some obstacles over here, the rooms you're going to be walking into, a little bit of what you're used to, and a little bit new.
On my turn, I can move, take one action, and then use one loadout card in any order. Now, my movement cannot be interrupted halfway through with an action, so I actually have to stop wherever I'm going. Movement is going to be basic. I can move 0 or 1 and not tell you anything. If I move 2 or 3, I then have to acknowledge to anyone who I passed by as I entered. That becomes a little tricky because if I'm pointing here, you know that guy knows that I just walked by him, and I'm then in this zone, which means you surround me, and I start having to really scramble to get out of dodge. My loadout cards are going to be gear cards that I have. They each have special abilities. Some don't get revealed till the end of the game. Some get revealed during the course of play. We will do so accordingly. And then finally, the actions that I can take. I can take a shoot action, which involves me drawing tokens from the bag. I can take a objective action, which involves me scoring my first point, and I can take a loot action. If I go to any location, any number placed on the board where I do not have my objective, I can actually draw another card for my loadout. Now, in my experience, it is not smart to go for all of those. Maybe 1, possibly 2 if you can squeeze it, but your timeline here runs out increasingly quickly. And with that being said, I need to go ahead and plan through what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep this board, just so you and the audience understand, I'm going to keep this board spun, and I'm going to continue potentially spinning the board. No, I probably won't spin the board, but I'm going to at least keep the board spun so that you don't have a good reference point for where my hand is going behind this big screen. It's something that Shira, when she watches you play this game, will look at like, oh, he's right in the top left corner. Okay, so my objectives are, let me identify where they are on the map, and I will go ahead and make some marks so the audience is following along.
My 3 officers are the sniper, the radio operator, and the kennel master. The kennel master is going to have the ability to plant these dogs on various zones. Once planted, they stop Jesse from being able to move past them without telling me he did so. The sniper has an opportunity to shoot back. If I know where Jesse is, if I'm sitting there and I understand that I've knocked him out, and Jesse's like, that's okay, he's only got me once, nuh-uh, I've got you twice as I reach into your own bag, pull out some shots, and hit you. And then the radio operator is going to have the ability to move a member of a different squad adjacent to him, which could be important at those key moments where I need a little more activation in a certain zone and no one else is there to help.
I actually am only terrified of one of those opponents. The general with the dogs, if he uses it appropriately, can block off entire access points where there's just an alert system there. That becomes incredibly annoying if he's able to do it in the position that I currently want to go to. if I want to pick up items, accomplish my first objective, or just even skirt around the edge of a building, that could be a big problem. And the moment Alex knows where I am, that's when I've started to lose this game. Okay. Oh, it's very hard to draw, apparently, on camera. I look like a toddler. I'm going to then enter...
Your handwriting's not great, too.
You're mean to me. Alright. I'm going to enter here.
Okay.
I am going to move here. I think... Let me just double check everything. Very interesting. This map is very interesting.
It is very interesting. I've been noticing the crossing overlap of the different zones.
Uh-huh.
Apologies if I'm quieter than usual this particular gameplay. I have an obligation to win, apparently, and that means I'm fairly focused.
But I also, for the sake of the viewer, definitely need you to talk through everything that you're doing.
Oh, I will talk through when it's my turn. Right now I'm just waiting.
Okay, well, I have taken my move. I am actually going to go ahead and take a loot action.
That was quick. Okay.
Very quick. And so I'm going to cycle through these cards and decide what exactly I would like to add to my arsenal. Here's the math I'm doing in my head. This game is a game all about economy. And I know that sounds weird, right? It's a sniper game. You run around the board and shoot people. But when it comes down to it, I've got 10 rounds to survive. 10 rounds to make it to both objectives. And considering my objectives are 9 and 3, they're the whole way across the board. I need to maximize how I'm going to get to them and how I'm going to score them.
So, we've just learned a lot of information right now. The fact that Jesse can take a loot action means he currently stepped onto and ended his turn onto one of a few possible zones. Jesse currently has to have entered from the edge of the board, which means right now he could be 1, 2, 3 over here. The problem is he didn't play any cards, and therefore he didn't tell us, hey, I have played something that may have secretly done so we know he's not here because he would have had to alert this guard. That eliminates one. The other entrance point is over here where he could have gone here. That is a very possible spot where he is on. There is another entrance point where he could have gone 1, 2. Again, very possible, also very risky, because the chance of me walking up to him, it would have to be a risky play, which means I don't think he has the guts to do that. It's a possibility. Which means the last option is over here. And again, I could theoretically go 1, 2. I would not be able to detect if he's there. So he is safe over there if he went there. I believe those are the only possible movements. He could have just walked on, taken a loot action. Now, when it comes to hidden movement games, the way I tend to operate, especially if I'm on the defense over here and I don't know where the person is I like to kind of play out every single possible option. How far could you have moved? What are the possible layouts on the board? How far could you have gone this way? Would you have possibly gone this way? What is basically everything on the table? And then slowly eliminating them from a stance of what makes no sense at all, playing through the double think, what the other person could have done, and then once you have it down to the reasonably possible options, then starting the process of having both those covered, or all of those covered, in order to ensure that as you move into the next turn, you still have that information. Along the way, I have the tools at my disposal to try to find those extra edges. If I'm not sure if you're here or here, I can investigate an entire sector. It might cost me a turn, but it means I don't spend the next 3-4 rounds hunting down 2 pathways. And so there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of ways you can go through it, but it's lots of just elimination combined with a little bit of checking your gut. That's where things fall apart.
I think Alex is a swell guy. I've enjoyed playing games with him. We do have a term in our game group called sendering, where he reads the rule book and then throughout the course of the game rereads the rule book and then acknowledges the things that he got wrong on the first read of the rule book. But that's not the case here. We've already played, and I actually taught him this game.
The likely safest position is over there. That is likely the safest. The interesting thing is there's not much I can do about it. What I can do to try to eliminate some options over here is I'm going to go ahead, Jesse, and I'm going to start off by pinging red. I'm going to take my both red actions over here and ask you if you are in red.
Okay, so because he is pinging red, it takes everything he's got, and I must admit 100% accurately whether or not I exist within that zone.
Okay, and the answer is?
I do not.
You do not. Good. I was hoping you wouldn't, because that answers... I mean, actually, would have probably been safer. But effectively, what we now know is we know Jesse stepped onto the board. We know this is not an option. For context, the actions I have on my turn is I can take... Every squad has 2 actions, but I could take a pinging action, a sweep of the sector. Gathering intel is called. If I... Well, just checking the entire zone.
And a special general action if you decide.
Yeah. Now, that said, that means I now have a few options. I could try playing it really safe and move over here and just straight up just try to spot that zone. It would be the safest thing to do. It would definitely give me a lot of context as to what's happening. The problem with that is it gives me context, but it doesn't really, if I'm wrong, if that's not the zone, I just gave up a major edge. So the question I have on the table is how much do I want to bet on the fact that there's no way Jesse had the guts to do that? I don't know. Let's see what to do with black first. Black's going to be our other option that's over here. We have these walkways we're trying to walk along. We have this officer up here. Officer over here. I could go ahead and go 1-2 onto that zone and start getting in the process of blocking the pathway. The problem is if he is there, I know full well I'm not going to walk through what I think he can do or react to, because that would give him ideas, and I don't want him to have ideas or know what I'm thinking. I only want him to know what I'm thinking in the past sense, not the future sense. And to that end, I have no idea which judgment calls to make. That's the problem we have with this game. I have no idea which judgment calls to make.
I love how this game represents your real life.
I hear you. The red's all done.
I also have a desperate need to stay silent, by the way, on your turn. Because I also have a deep desire to win. And it's not for pride. You destroyed that years ago.
Yeah.
It's for sheer bragging rights.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something very interesting that I don't think Jesse anticipated, but it might make this a shorter game than he's interested in. We're going to go ahead.
As in I win quickly?
And we're going to go 1-2 into that zone. We're going to move into that zone. So right now, if Jesse is here and he moves down the pathway, he'll be moving at a distance of 3, and then he'll have to tell me or play a card. Which means at that point, his other options are playing a card, giving me information, or walking along this pathway, which will also give me opportunities to pin him down. The thing I don't think he anticipated is I'm going to use my sniper as an early game hit. I'm going to shoot the target zone when attacking this turn, my second action. So I moved as my first action. My units can move up to 2 spaces. You cannot move twice with the same unit. You can't do that. So a single unit cannot take the same action twice in a turn. I'm going to take a shoot action, so it's when attacking, I'm going to augment that attack. Normally I can only attack in my space. I'm going to target a space in their line of sight. This does represent line of sight to that zone because I'm not right next to the pathway. If you're right next to a walkway, you can't shoot up. You have to have a little bit of distance, but now I can shoot that. I'm going to use your shooting bag and your shooting rules. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw, I believe 5 chips is a safe zone. I'm not worried about the noise aspect. I'm just worried about getting a complete dead.
What's the negative?
The negative to me, the negative is just a hit. A miss.
So why wouldn't you draw...
More than 5? I think I should draw more than 5.
I'm just wondering, like, what would be... A miss would be...
5 misses. 5 misses. And I need to get how many hits? I need to get 3 hits, right? 2 for the distance and +1.
Yeah.
So if I need to get 3 hits, and from those 3 hits, I need 5 misses for to actually miss, I think the right number to draw is 7. 7 chips. Because at that point, I could draw 5. 5 plus 2 anyway. Yeah, 7 chips. I'm going to draw 7 chips, hoping for a hit. I don't think this game's going the way Jesse thought. And I'm going to go ahead and draw 1.
Good start.
2.
Lovely start.
3.
I love that for you.
4.
Okay.
5. 6. 7. Are you there, Sir Jesse?
I'm going to be honest. I lean into the chaos, and that sometimes works for me, but I did not expect Alex to identify the fact that every starting zone has some reason why I wouldn't start in it. And the one I started in has a few reasons why I would. I do not know what to say. I am there. What did you do? What did you do, you analytical jerk?
I shot you!
Yeah, I realized that.
I'll be honest, I thought there was no way in hell that would work. That's a first turn reveal. That's insane. I don't know what just happened. That's the first time that's happened to us. I mean, I just shot him. I just shot him.
I know this looks bad. But I think we can come back from this. This is an interesting game. Being detected is part of the puzzle. You pop up when you complete an objective. You pop up when you draw too many bullets from the bag. They know where you are. I'm the strongest character on this board. The only concern is the fact that I only have 1 health left.
Now, I still have my black actions, and that is helpful because I know exactly where you are now, and that's going to make this job a whole lot easier. Now, walking down the pathway, unfortunately, doesn't actually give me the full flexibility I want because you can anyways do things that I would rather you not do. To that end, this is still adjacent to here. So I think I'm going to go ahead, I can walk out there. Oh, I can't go underneath there, that's a different story. I have to go underneath over here, which is not what I want. I think I will just start doing what I think I have to do, which is starting to close the distance. I will go 1, 2 down there, and I'll go 1, 2 over there. Just trying to close a little bit of distance because there's only so many options you have as far as how you can do things, and you are panicking, and it's your turn. Oh, and for the record, I have 1 more bullet.
Well. That
was a gutsy first move on your end.
Very interesting. So I saw every zone connects to, and I didn't even think as far as you thought. I just went, oh, that's cool. I'll enter there.
There's so many options.
Yeah. And then you break them down point by point by point. Like when you pointed that out on the scaffolding, I was just like, oh, I didn't even realize I'd be trapped there. Oh, awkward.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. This is going much better than our real game.
Man, this is shockingly embarrassing.
It's okay. If we end it very quickly, we'll have a round 2.
I mean, I want to be able to come back from this, though. That's the thing that's compelling to me.
It would be very compelling if you came back from this. That's the first time we've had anywhere near that much detection that early. First turn detection,
it's pretty
has not
insane.
happened.
Pretty insane. I am going to take a shoot action to start.
Also, by the way, my first time picking the sniper. I've never wanted to pick the sniper until now. I've always felt that shooting back felt like not what the game is. I like the other abilities. I'm glad I picked the sniper.
I need to draw 3 as well.
You're shooting?
Yep.
You're shooting back.
Yep.
Based on where you are right now.
I'm going to draw 7.
I don't love that you did that.
1.
Nope.
2.
Nope. I know you are. I might know where you are.
3. 4. 5. 6.
And then you got me.
7.
7 is the target number at that range. You do unfortunately shoot my officer, which means you'll be adding one of the officer chips to the bag.
I get one of my silence tokens, which cancels out a noise. That's going to be added back into my bag. And now
my officer is not out of the game. On my turn, I could take a deploy action to put the officer back in the starting space, which unfortunately will probably not be in shooting range of him anymore.
that is absolutely the desperate hope of a dying man.
I'll keep talking again when it's my turn. I'm not giving him any ideas. None whatsoever.
Here's the plan. I think I can double back around the bridge. That's my thought. I'll murder his guy along the way, maybe drop a C4 mine there just in case he doubles past me as I'm moving through. But if I can distract him enough, I'm going to be able to cut around the edge and circle around the outside of the map. Well, you should leave my mini, I guess, just because it's the last spot.
We always leave the miniature there. You done?
I'm done.
So, to walk this through, Jesse has a few options over here.
I literally might be done.
He's likely moving 3...
Comment down below if Alex's analysis is pissing you off as well.
I haven't won yet.
Say the muskrat's a scoundrel.
So I have a few options here. Jesse, first of all, I know for a fact that 2 is not his objective.
Bourbon.
Now, Jesse could go down here. He could go 1, 2, 3, or 3, or 3. Those are all possible options. It's always possible he's heading towards 5 or 6 as possibilities as well, which would be compelling. The problem is you have to think through he made a decision as well. When he had 5 or 6 were his objectives, he chose to start where he chose to start for a reason. That likely means that he's trying to sweep this way, going from black to red, or from yellow to red. But I just think that the choice he made there is a little gutsy considering he stayed on the scaffolding. He didn't go further down the first turn. That early game reveal is key. The fact that I know where he is, the fact that he can't spend the next 2 or 3 turns having him around, that's going to throw him off his game. It's going to give me information, it's going to fluster him, it's going to send him spiraling, and how can he outthink what I'm going to do next, which is going to cost him time. The nice thing about this game is that when you're trying to outthink your opponent as the sniper, what you're essentially trading is time for cleverness, and this is a game where you can't afford to use time too often, this is off to a good start. But again, we have some guaranteed options here. We know for a fact that if I pop my officer in play, which I almost certainly will do, then we know for a fact that Jesse will not be able to walk past the officer without shooting and killing him, which granted he can do and has done in the past, and that's not always a fun thing. But still, it gives us some options. Additionally, if he's going this way, he'd have to go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 would still be 2 turns away from that zone, giving me again some possibilities. At the same time, he could have gone 1, 2, 3 that way. So let's start tracing some of the pathways. This one is definitely a valid pathway.
Now, these clear cubes are the marker that the defender has to note things on the board.
Now, there's always the question of when he's trying to play doubling games, when he's trying to walk into this corner because it's clearly the stupidest move he can make and doesn't serve his purpose at all. The nice part is the game has a timer that is fairly tight, so those decisions, while he might make them, are a little bit scary to make. The other options are going to go 1, 2, 3, or 3, or 3 are the most likely options if you don't assume doubling games. To that end, it doesn't necessarily give me as much information as I would like, unfortunately, because, well, it doesn't give me as much information as I would like, unfortunately.
Because of math.
Because of math is the right terminology.
Math has always really been your weakness.
Now, the first thing I could do is I could take an action to determine if he's... I could take that screen action again, that reveal, the gather intel in the black zone to determine for sure if he's in the black zone. The problem is that would leave me fairly handicapped if he's not. But if he is, it gives me a lot of information, and I don't think he is in the black zone, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Jesse, are you in the black zone?
No.
Perfect. We now take these off the board. We can eliminate all of those. For the sake of completion, we'll throw these over here. I'm not going to bother in that corner. We'll throw this there. That gives us a lot more information about what goes on. It also means that we could, if we really are desperate, we could pop up our officer and possibly take a pot shot again, which would be immensely entertaining if he's here, or here, or here, or there, I believe. I think I have line of sight to all those. Water does not block line of sight. I should have line of sight to all of those zones. Which means I could right now just play the odds and go for a 1 out of 6 chance of killing you on turn 2. Which would be immensely entertaining. Like, immensely entertaining. Like, so entertaining I'd have a hard time not doing it. We're going to pop our officer into play. We're going to pick a zone, because this would be the best game ever, if I guess correctly. We're going to give up... This is not tactically sound, this is just great for the camera. I'm going to pick a zone that I think is the most likely one that you would have gone to. I do not think you simply walked over there and then walked down here. It's just too vague. Where would you be going with this option? You're going to here just makes no sense. Going to 3, I mean 3 could be a possibility. It could be 3. You'd have to be heading down over here to get to 3. 3 is a possibility. And given the fact that you didn't walk down initially, I think you pivoted and adjusted your plan. So I think you are actually here. We are going to draw. I need 4 successes. We're going to draw 8 chips from the bag. We're drawing 8 chips from the bag. I am targeting this zone over here. I think he was planning on walking along the pathway. Once I found out where he was, he changed, and now he's trying to head underneath there to get to point 3, possibly point 1. Both are valid options. Chip number 1. I don't know if that counts.
Load, refresh game.
Chip number
Anyone
2.
else play the video game and do that when you make tactical errors?
The thing is now wondering if it's an act, chip number 3. Or if we're going to, chip number 4. Chip number 5. Chip number 6. Chip number 7. And chip number 8. Is that where you are, Jesse?
No.
You're not. Alright. It was a possibility. My turn's not done.
You have no bullets left.
I have no bullets left.
That is the sweetest sound in the world.
It would have been the coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Your sniper's terrifying. Can I please have that bag?
Okay, listen. I can't have everything go my way. That was going to be a miss. It was almost certain that it was going to be a miss. I knew it was going to be a miss. But can you imagine how cool it would have been if I actually managed to hit him on the second turn of the game?
Why was I scared of the dogs? Why was I scared of the dogs at all? The sniper's terrifying. The sniper's horrifying. The sniper is my worst enemy. And I should have picked up on that, considering this is a Sniper Elite.
That would have been incredible. Okay, alright. So, now that you're there, we still have to try to figure things out. But now that I know you're not on the scaffolding, I have a few options. You could always backtrack to the scaffolding. That's an option we'll take. We're going to go 1-2 with that officer over there. That's the radio operator. He can also pull someone in, which is also fun. Which I think we'll do, because I like the idea of closing the gap around you as fast as I possibly can. So to that end, we're going to give up one of our radio operator. Oh, I can't do that before I move. I can't do it before. The radio operator can pull another soldier to their zone, to adjacent to their zone, but not if I am, not once I've moved. I can only do it after I move. Okay, we have a few options. We're going to go ahead and, that was our first black unit over there. We're going to go ahead and move this one down the hallway as well. 1, 2. Start getting some options down there as far as just closing off and around you. The problem is you still could try to do things to get past me, but if you're over there, you have to move a decent amount, so I think I'm pretty happy with how this is going. We'll go ahead and we've taken our yellow actions, we have our red soldiers as well. I think the fact that I'm on the walkways, blocking the walkways, means I have some flexibility here. I have some flexibility. We're going to go ahead and move this unit. We're closing a nice gap over there. I like the current situation. We're going to go ahead and move this unit 1, 2 to cross over there. And then we're going to move as well. Oh my gosh, decisions. We're going to go ahead and move 1, 2 with our officer. And that is our round.
Oh, wow, this game is not quite going how I had intended. I thought, just fun little courtyard squabble. It turns out it's been a vindictive and vicious game on Alex's part.
Keep in mind, while this is going better than any game I've played so far, this is how most of the games have gone to a degree, just a little bit later, and he usually manages to pull off the win. Again, forget I said that on camera, but
I'm going to start with a shoot action. I am going to be drawing I still feel fine at 7.
7 it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did you need 4 or did you need 3 is the question on the table. I don't get to find out who he's shooting just yet, but I do get to find... Oh, also, I know where you are now.
You are dead.
I know where you are.
I know. You are dead. I am here.
2 noise tokens means that I know where he is, which is interesting. It's not the move I wanted, but it does also give me information about where he was or was not headed.
Which is annoying.
It's very, very entertaining is what the word you're looking for.
It doesn't actually give you so much information, but it definitely gives you more information than I would have preferred you had.
It gives me a decent amount of information. My officer... Well, I'm not going to stop talking now.
My thought is, if he gets enough people clustered and focused in one direction, all I have to do now is ping an objective and then ping another objective. It's a straight line. It's a straight path. I need a lot of things to go right, but that's always the case with Sniper Elite. That's my turn.
That's my turn. That's my turn. Okay. I have actions in front of me. So, again, to use the same general process as usual, he has a few options.
I hate your process.
Option 1 is he went 1, 2, 3, and he's literally standing on his objective and he couldn't do anything. I can solve for that by popping up an officer and moving 1 and attacking. That would be great. The problem is option 2 is he went 1, 2, 3. Again, all these options inherently involve moving less than 3. He could pop up over there, in which case I can go 1, 2, and spot. Not start, not actually... I couldn't spot. I could not spot. 1, 2... I can only move 2. So I wouldn't have been able to actually stop you there, which means I'm not actually as worried about that one. That one, I kind of... If you're going for 6, you're going for 6. It is what it is. I'll find out later, and I'll try to trap you in and slow you down as much as I possibly can. So it's more about 5 that I'm kind of concerned with. Now, option 3, of course, always on the table, is that he went 1, 2, 3... or even right back up the ladders. Now, I don't think he went right back up the ladders. I think that up the ladder would represent too much of a question of if I'm going to move him and how far. I think he'd be too trapped. Also, he wouldn't be able to go 1, 2, 3. The 3 would have to slow him down. So again, unless he's really willing to risk a few turns for hopeful plays, these are the current options on the table. Now, from those options, we could try to eliminate the option in black easily enough by simply walking a little bit forward and sweeping the spaces. Those would give us a lot of information. But not necessarily. Those would be tricky because if I get him, if I catch him, if I take the sweep and I got him, it does limit what I actually can do. Unless I'm willing to take a spot action right next to her. I could walk here and take a spot action with black, which is not the craziest thing. I think it's very unlikely that he's there, but it would put me in a good position to be able to. He'd have to still tell me if he's walking past. I think we're going to go ahead with our officer, and we're going to, with our radio operator over here, we're going to. You know what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do, Jesse. I figured it out. We are going to pop. Interesting. We are going to go ahead and pull in, using the radio operator, we're going to pull in one of the officers over here. We're going to pop this guy into an adjacent space.
What does the radio operator do?
Deploy a soldier from any squad into a space matching adjacent to this officer. The officer may be in any sector. The soldier must have been off the board at the start of this turn. The soldier must have been off the board at the start of this turn.
Not possible.
So I can't actually deploy a soldier. Never mind. You have to kill me first. That doesn't help me at all.
And that's a general.
That doesn't help me at all. That's not what I want.
It's a good thing I had you read that. You almost centered this.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, I will go ahead with the simple action. I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to spot this sector, Jesse.
Okay, what does spot do?
Spot sector is spot an adjacent space, adding a noise token to the shot bag if successful. Basically, you're going to tell me if you're there.
You even said it's the most least likely place for him to go.
But it was a good spot. The reason
I understand the puzzle.
The only reason I did that...
You made the right choice.
Is because he's blocking the ladder now. Forcing you to kill him on the way out. Forcing you to draw tokens in the bag, which you don't care about.
He keeps finding me. He keeps... And I know I'm making slightly obvious plays. I have to. I don't have time to waste. But Alex, through his analytical breakdown of the board, keeps identifying where we are. And it is so frustrating. Let me just express that right now. I'm so frustrated. I just cannot even fathom this.
Now the fun part is you're currently over there, and I have to be mindful of the fact that you're going to try to kill me and walk up the ladder as a possible option. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's going to. So to that end, that really strongly calls into question whether 5 and 6 are his objectives, because 5 and 6 over here, as much as they're tempting, to him to ignore those and just completely ignore them and hope he can double back in time is a scary option. Unless we're looking at 4 as his objective. 4 is close enough that would give him a little bit of control to feel like he could do what he wants. And then he would have started on white because it's starting on a sector as well. There's lots of reasons to consider 4 as his objective, but I can't be certain about any of those. What I can be certain is I need to be moving lippity-split.
It's like you enter the base and the alarm system's already ringing by the time you're in. You didn't even get a chance to be stealth. You're just...
So, with you over there, I still haven't moved my yellow at all. I may as well go ahead and pop my officer back on the board. He's very annoying so far. And he's going to go ahead and move 1, 2. That's going to prevent you from being able to run back without telling me that you did stuff. So that's helpful off the bat. From there, I don't think you're running back. I think you're going to try to shoot me and walk up the ladder. So now it's just a question of me getting my other squad members up the ladder. I don't know how much flexibility. That's the one thing you have in your advantage there strongly, where I'm going to have to spend a lot of time getting up that ladder. But then again, once you walk on the ladder, you're kind of trapped. So I'm going to rely on that. I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2 up the ladder. It is what it is. We'll slowly move along towards you and figure things out. And then the other red person is going to try to enclose you from behind, going ahead and going 1, 2, so we can walk around and enclose you. Those are our turns. It is now your turn, Mr. Anderson.
This is going just lovely so far. Let me tell you, the audience, don't worry, I have him right in the palm of my hand, exactly where I need him to be. We're just going to start by killing one of his officers.
I'll admit, now I'm a bit confused. I don't understand why he would have shot me, given that he just walked past me. Is he about to double back? Is he about to move forward? That opportunity to take one, to shoot me, to hit me, I don't know where he's going.
So I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 chips from the bag. I need 1 to actually connect with you.
4? That's a lot of chips.
It's a decent amount of chips, but there's no spaces in between us.
And you're guaranteed. Why not 5 at that point?
And I count the space you're in. I think we were calculating this wrong earlier on.
We were. We need 1 distance. Oh, you only did 2 before. We added an extra one. We only need 2 from here and the same distance there. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it changes literally anything.
2 shots, 3 shots.
Okay, alright. I'm going to draw 4.
Why not 5?
Because 5 is, if I draw them all wrong...
But you miss anyway.
Bad news.
5 is safer. 5 is much safer. 5 is
One
safer.
shot is all I need, Alex.
I know, but 5 is a safer option.
It's all
I'm bothered by the illogicalness of it.
It's all I need. I murder you.
Okay.
Now comes to this. So,
The good news is I'm fairly happy with how I'm positioned.
what will Alex not think I'm going to do? That's the question.
I know exactly what you're doing.
That is the incredibly painful question that I just don't think I have a solid answer to. Oh, man. I don't like you. That's it. That's my turn. Oh.
Okay.
And I'm running out of time, which is the most painful part of this, that Alex is well aware of. That clock that's counting down is
Just want to check something.
painful.
No big deal.
What are you checking?
Nothing at all.
What are you
Nothing at all.
checking?
Nothing at all.
You looked at my tile,
Yeah.
and then you're checking something. What would you be checking off of my tile?
I'm just checking some options over here. Just going through just one thing that I want to be very clear on, because I can't ask you the question without telling you what I don't want you to
I
know.
hate questions like that, though, Alex. You know those are my least favorite questions. The questions that you are unwilling to share the answer with me.
Okay. So basically we have a few different options.
You figuring out how to murder me?
I'm figuring out how to murder you, but I'm trying to figure out a question about adjacency.
You cannot attack me adjacently.
I can't attack you adjacently. That's not the question at all.
No.
The question is just one of... So I'll
If
I'll
I
ask you,
adjacently move past you, that's a problem.
is this space adjacent to this space, hypothetically?
Is this space
The down space adjacent to the walkway?
adjacent to this space? Yes, it
Mhm.
is.
So-
Because what you're hearing is sound, not visual.
That's what I thought, but I couldn't find the exact answer. Now the problem is, that means if you went 1, 2, 3, you would have to tell me because you're adjacent to this person. You would have to play a card, or tell me. That means if you went 1, 2, 3, you'd have to tell me over here. So that eliminates, assuming we're following that correctly, that eliminates these as options. This is still an option. You could have gone 1, 2, you could have gone 1, 2. All the 1, 2s are possible. You could be over there. You could be over here. You could be over here. You could be 1, 2, 3, all the way down here, which would be a nice safe option to try to circle around. But I think you're going for 4, which means I think that you probably went with the safe option of a 1, 2. But it's not a guarantee, not by any means. You still could be going for 1 or 3. So it's always a question as far as what I think you did. You're definitely not here. We can take that off. There's no way you went 1. That would be too foolish. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you know, it's not what I've done so far, so maybe it wouldn't be too foolish, Alex.
You could have tried going back 1 or 2. If you did that, I think you'd go 2 over 1. So I'm going to put you down over there as a possible option. I think these are the
Just so
most
your
likely.
math is correct, and I
Yes.
shouldn't do this, but it's strict rules.
What? Just hold up. Let me see.
0 and 1 means I have to tell you. 2
Oh,
and
2, 2,
3
2.
means
You're
I
right.
have to announce.
You're right.
That's just
My bad.
something.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're correct. So this would still be possible because you wouldn't have touched anyone adjacent. This one, 1, 2, because you still didn't touch someone adjacent. That's why. I was doing it correctly for these, just being further away, and then I extrapolated to 2, which is a problem. Then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those are the most likely options on the table. And to that end, I now have to make decisions around what is most likely. I think a 0-1 move is safe but also risky because I could literally walk into your space and attack, which I think makes the most sense for the black unit up there. We're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to attack that square.
You hit the rail.
I hit the rail. Okay, perfect. That's good.
Move your black cubes down.
Black cubes are both down. We moved an attack. Now the problem is at this point, you could move backwards, which is a possibility. But again, the question is, can I do anything better with my time? Even if I move this unit over here, I still can't scout that area. So I can potentially close the gap a bit, but not necessarily enough for it to be meaningful. Which means I might be interested in simply pinging that area and hoping for the best. And from there, the question is, where would you have gone? I don't love the idea. I really don't love the idea of just swiping the air next to me, because that would be a safe thing for you to do, but maybe you're double backing up to 5. I think it is the safe thing to just try to eliminate a little bit of options. I'm going to go ahead and walk 1 and hit the area.
Into a crate next to you.
The very dramatic pauses do not make me think that I'm winning. That's 2, so we're good there, which means we're down to 3 most likely options. From those most likely options, there is... I can do the safe thing. The safest thing would be going 1, 2, and sweeping for both these areas. Or doing a spot wouldn't do it. A sweep would do the current space and the space next to it. It would tell me for sure that you're over here, which would give me a lot of opportunities to figure things out. The problem is, I don't think you went 1, 2 there. I think 1, 2... It's safer to attack. The problem is, the main issue is, I think anyways, if you're going this way, you probably went there. That's what I think the most likely option is. And at that point, I've used my yellow, so it doesn't really matter. I may as well try for a hit. I'm going to go 1, 2, and attack the zone.
Right into the stone.
Okay, so I'm going to leave those little cubes on the board because that's what I think you are, but it is your turn, sir. I could be wrong. That's the downside. The downside here is at a certain point in the game, you start moving into a mode where you are certain you are right about something. In reality, he just stood still. He just sat there and said, you know what, if I throw him off my tracks for a single turn, if I give up a full entire move, then I'm fine. But again, he has a timer. He has 6 turns left. He's about to make his 5th action of the game.
I'm going to draw 6 chips.
I guess he's not worried about us finding out where he is.
Do I have all the chips in this bag that I'm supposed to?
I believe so.
1.
Oh, you should have 1 more officer chip. You've killed another officer.
No, I just want to check all the chips.
Did you take chips out of the bag?
Officer, 3.
That's all the chips?
There's
you should have more chips.
There's definitely more chips.
You're supposed to have 6 hits.
I totally pulled some off the bag and onto the...
You're supposed to have 6 chips, I believe, if I go through it correctly. 6 aim, 2 noise, and those numbers haven't changed. Actually, you should have an additional... No, you haven't changed.
No, you haven't...
I spotted you once. You should have additional noise.
3 noise.
Okay. And then 3 recoils. And those wouldn't have changed. And you should have 2 of those off.
But I would have got 1 more shot chip because I did kill...
Nope, you got this when you
killed. I did kill 2 officers?
You killed 2 officers.
Okay. I was going to say, I must have desorted the chips at some point in the bag. Because I'm like, this is feeling very strange. Okay. 6 chips. Ready?
Add 1 more aim token.
1 more aim token.
Yep, you've killed my yellow officer twice, and the second time, once you take the suppression chip, you take a red one chip.
Okay. Alright, ready to go?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1 more red. 1 more red.
5, 6.
Did you stand still?
And that's exactly how you don't play the shot bag. I am so pissed off at this. Listen, the odds were on my side. The odds have been on my side the entire game. I just gave up my position. I can't go across. I can't double back now. I can't do this. I'm going to have to go for it. I'm going to have to dive right in.
Where are you, sir?
Why in this game is my position not secret? Oh my gosh.
You're which one of these?
Oh my gosh.
Where are you?
This is so frustrating.
Where are you?
I like that I'm still here.
Add a name chip. Okay. So I called it correctly. My one thing, I would have regretted it if he's over here. But I called it correctly where he was. And this is now, you can still move.
I can. This is so...
The problem is I still can't, I know where you are, it doesn't help me.
Wow. Wow.
It only helped me once this game, knowing where you are. That's the good news.
It's been emotionally brutal to me. I mean, I feel devastated. Man.
Why'd you shoot me? Oh, I know why you shot me. That was silly. You shouldn't have shot me.
Don't talk to me.
You give me information. You unnecessarily shot me.
I mean, now that you know where I am...
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
I am...
The real thing is, I just hope he chose to make certain decisions. I'm not going to say that much in context until it's my turn. I just hope that he made certain decisions based on certain things that are just really painful because he hasn't achieved certain things yet. That's as specific as I'll be until it's my turn again.
I'm playing a card.
Ooh, fun. Time to reference the card rulebook and see exactly what the cards could be.
And I'm moving.
Okay. So right about now, there's a few options that he could have played. He could have played sound masking, which would allow him to move 2 or 3 spaces without telling me. He could play an S-mine, dropping an S-mine somewhere on the board. I think he possibly would have taken an S-mine, but I think it's far more likely that he used sound masking, because an S-mine was effective-ish last game, but I don't think it was as effective as he wanted. I think that the sound masking is probably the more likely option, but then the question is, where would you have gone that would help you not have to worry about that? You're done?
I just want to remind the audience that this gameplay is brought to you by Larceny Bourbon. For those of you that like bourbon reviews, I am buttering up my opponent with a bottle of Larceny and a simple little old-fashioned that I made for myself. This is a great, approachable drinker. I actually highly recommend it. Sheer introduced it to me originally, but we go through a few bottles of these a month with the amount of people we have coming, visiting, and spending time with us.
So to that end, there's a few options over here. Option 1 is he went...
You are so frustrating.
2, 3. Now, he could go underneath here, which is totally fine, and it's not adjacent to that. This zone's adjacent to this zone, it's not adjacent to that zone. He could have gone over there, which is a possibility, and now he wants me to not do that. First of all, before we even continue this action, I think the far more likely thing is that none of this is a factor at all, and I think he actually walked this way entirely, and he's trying to play that card to throw me off his trail. I think that's the most likely option. Option 2 is he went 1, 2, and 3, and he's over there. But at this point, I think that the card would tell me as much information by using it as not. And so I think he literally threw down a card just for the sake of throwing down a card. Maybe he threw a C1, maybe not, but these two moves are far too obvious, and these moves wouldn't have required it at all, which means the most likely option is that he was down this option. He could have gone 1, 2, 3, and he's over here, but that doesn't leave me a lot of room to actually engage with him if so. It does not leave me a lot of room to engage with him. Now, I could find out a lot of information, not as much as I'd like, but I could find out a lot of information by simply pinging the yellow zone. But I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it is. I think that we need to bring some more people in play. There is the possibility he's heading towards 5, and to do that, if he was over here, he can go 1, 2, 3 and accomplish the objective. So at the very least, what I could do is I can force his hand. So I'm going to try to run out the clock at this point. I'm not going to overly worry about that, because if he went here, it is what it is. So I'm going to go 1, 2 with that unit, and now he's in the way, and now his next shot has to be attacking him, and he won't be able to do anything but the 5 over there. I think that's the nicest, safest option. We'll take a move action over there. We'll bring the yellow officer back into play by bringing him closer to us by going 1, 2 over here. Standing guard over there will be a little too late, but then again, this guard's here already. And I don't think I'm going to move him. I think it's the safest thing not to move him. I still think the most likely option is that he went down this pathway, although there is still a pathway in which he went down there. To that end, for black, I think the best option on the table is to spawn my officer back in play over here, and to go 1, 2. That's going to stop any option of him walking straight past over here without giving you a little bit of presence or playing another card. Again, just in case options. And then I think the most likely option is that he went down here. The problem is there's not a lot that I can do if so. And the downside is throwing me off his tracks at this point, if he's going for 8 or 7, would be a bit of a wasted game. What I could do is he could have gone 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. He could be over here right now, which means I could go ahead and I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to take a spot action over here.
I'm not there.
Cool. That's the situation. I'm going to leave the cubes on the board to figure things out. I think there's a decent chance that he's 1, 2, 3, but the problem is that if he is there, those two would not be likely. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop there, and it's your turn. I've taken all my actions. The downside of this game is that he's about to potentially accomplish an objective. He's there anyway, so that ruse would have not bought him that much time. We're playing it safe. We'll figure it out. Your turn, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. Is the soldier on the rampway being particularly annoying? I decided not to swing. I decided to be annoying instead.
This has been such
A great game.
a quickly frustrating game.
You have 5 turns left to accomplish all your objectives, sir.
Yeah.
You're killing me. It's helpful. Ish.
The fact that you already have a damage on me, though,
Yeah, it makes you can't afford any mistakes.
I can't give up a damage to complete an objective.
You absolutely cannot.
I think I can still do this. I think there's a pathway to me getting there. I'm going to have to be tactical. I need to play more cards than I've used. There would have been some items I would have loved to have had. But, you know, I got to make the most of them. Taking that item at the very beginning of the game cost me a lot. And now, the question is, can I use it to my advantage?
That's the second time he's killed my sniper, and honestly, I'm out of bullets anyway. I don't know if it matters. It's a little irritating though, because he keeps killing my sniper. My radio operator, I want to use my ability to bring a soldier into the game, to pop him when he's not prepared, but I can't do it because he keeps killing my sniper. I don't think he's intending to do that. It's having an annoying consequence on my plans though. For context, it takes 2 damage to kill him. 2 damage. I'm going to just do some light reading on the various options he has in front of him, because he still has 2 pieces of equipment he didn't use. What I wonder is a possibility, a very strong possibility, is that he didn't play sound. No, he would have had to play sound masking. Because if he played an S mine, I'm going to stop talking. This information is way too useful for this turn. I'm going to stop. I'll read, do some light reading myself. Oh, to be clear, by the way, tunnels and walkways above are not considered adjacent. This specific tunnel to walkway.
I don't know how to proceed forward
I like hearing that. It's always a good thing.
without it being impossible for me to get my objectives.
I like that too.
That's the math I'm trying to figure out.
Always a good
You've
thing.
so fuddled me. Like every step of the way right now, you've so fuddled me.
I'm liking this game. So
Alright.
it's what they
I just
call
need
a
to do
family.
numbers. I need to do numbers.
Mother, father, daughter, son.
1, 2,
He's counting his turns, and he's counting each one times 3 and trying to figure out his leeway.
3, 4, 5, 6. My math has me at 6 turns.
To be able to accomplish everything?
Everything went perfectly.
You don't have 6 turns.
I know.
Does that mean you've lost?
I'm looking at it.
Feels like you lost.
I'm going to play it out. The problem is with a wound on me,
Yep.
that sniper shot made it so that I cannot give up in
Anything.
action.
Anything, at any point.
Whereas right now, without the sniper shot, I would just do something
And race forward.
and go forward because I could count on hiding again.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about this game is the amount of times that you can pick up the lead of the enemy. It's not just about the lead. The lead is not good enough if you can't do anything with the soldiers there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now all he's doing is counting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He's got a few turns left. He doesn't have enough time. He's just desperately counting, which, I mean, honestly, I get the panic. I get that he's finally crumbling under pressure, which is great because normally he thrives under pressure and I'm the one crumbling, but it is working in my favor. But he's also giving me information. It's also giving me a bit of information of just how far he can go, what he can reach. Even as he's crumbling, he's further asserting that I actually might win this one.
Too far away. 1, dead. 1, 2, 2, dead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One space away. 1.
Slow counting process.
1. I need to just do it on this board. 1.
1,
2,
2, 3, 4, 5.
3,
Days go
4,
by, still must try.
5.
Keep it up, dog. It's too big a fight. Eyes just close when I lay at night.
Got it.
Okay, awesome.
Got it.
Happy you did.
Got it. Got it.
Good.
Alex, I got it.
Awesome.
I got it.
Happy to hear.
Okay. I... Playing a card.
Yep.
And I am completing an objective.
Okay. 8, I assume? Oh, it could be 6. I missed 6. I missed 6. 9. Interesting. So 9, that's 6 or 9? That's 9. Okay, so I totally missed that. That's on me. That is on me. I should have moved my person there. I missed that there was that on the board. That's the problem with confidence. Now, the good news on my end, correct me if I'm wrong, you would have had to go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. You have to be here. What am I missing? Did you play any card?
I mean, when I complete an objective, I have to be there.
Yeah, you're there now.
Mm-hmm.
You played a card this turn, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You said you played a card.
I did.
Okay. So you played a card on that. So realistically, the card you played is almost certainly a C1. A C1 would be a dual detonation device that tells you can hit me. Which means I have a few options, but I don't know if it's interesting, because I could walk onto your space and hit you. But that's likely going to result... Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting choice. So I could just try to obstruct you slowly, which is another choice. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2 with that unit. Because if I can't step on your space, and it could be a bluff. He could just not have a C1, and he's bluffing me. It's so a bluff. It's so a bluff. Let me play this out. I'm going to do the other things first. You have to be there right now. That's the good news. Okay. So you are there. You're going for that. Now we also
This is like a hidden movement game where Alex has known where I am the entire game. Ugh.
Now the interesting thing is we know for sure 5 and 6 are not as objectives. You cannot have 2 objectives in the same zone. So that's something that's off the table. So to that end, his goal is to now get away. And he just doesn't have enough time. So my goal is to just slow him down. I don't think I'm going to try to step onto him, because stepping onto him would be a potentially losing game. I think the right move is to just go ahead and wander confidently forward, because you would have to walk out here to do anything. So I think I'm going to wander confidently forward. We'll do that. We will go ahead and move this unit 1, 2. We're going to move this unit over here. Now the nice part is I think it is worth trying to just spot him and slowly add chips to his bag to make it more likely. So I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and I'm going to spot you.
I don't think you can spot me. I'm already there. I'm revealed.
Why not?
My token is revealed. That's
Does
what
it
happens.
Say you can't spot?
No, when I complete an objective, I am publicly already on the board.
That's an excellent question.
You
Jesse.
can't double down on spots with other people, and that's what spawns my miniature.
I'm happy to see that point, but it doesn't say so here.
I'm just saying, like, when you spot, you place my miniature there, and you couldn't do more spots to put more things in my bag.
I hear you. I'll give it to you just without the factor of the rules being here.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, though, we'll definitely leave our other sniper where he is, our other person. But in that case, if that's the case, I may have to change my move there, because then it might be worth just walking in the space, going boom, and seeing what happens. The problem is, I don't think it's worth it. So we moved 1 unit over here. We did that. We know you're heading down over here, so we will start going, just trying to make it as hard for you as possible. That's our goal. We're going to go 1, 2 over there. we will go ahead and go 1, 2 over there. Actually, 8 might be a viable pathway for you. I'm going to go 1, 2 over here. We're going to go 1, 2 over here. And we move the black, and so do I risk walking onto your space? The chances of you having to walk all the way back are slim. I think I'm going to force you to kill me if you want to do that. I'm going to just go 1, 2, and then I'm going to go 1, 2. And now it's your turn. So here's the play. I don't know if he took the C1 explosive or not. I don't. That C1 has not been as effective as he would like in the past games we've had. It's killed some people, but that's not really what you need to do to win the game. I don't think he took the C1. But I can't afford to be wrong, so he's going to get his way anyway.
I'm going to draw tokens from the bag. I'm going to draw 4.
Now the real question at the end of the game is if he placed the C1 there or if he bluffed me.
1, 2, 3, 4. Your miniature's dead.
Which one? The one in front of you?
Yeah.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're moving.
There's lots of options, but we'll talk in a second.
Okay.
You done?
I am...
Do you play cards?
I'm done.
Okay, so option 1 is he went 1, 2, 3. He's over here. If he's going that way...
I have to acknowledge your other guy heard me move.
This one heard you move.
Heard me move.
If you move 3, and I know that at some point you were next to him.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. It does give me a little information. It means
No, if I move 2 or 3.
Yes, 2 or 3, yeah. So 1, 2, 3 is one option. He's heading back there. He needs to get somewhere. I don't know if he has enough time, but it definitely would be very, very effective if he's able to. The next option is that he's going to go 1, 2, 3, which is over here. 1, 2, 3, which is over here. So those are the most likely options. There's always a possibility of another option, but I think they're less possible. We can go ahead and make his life next turn. He could go 1, 2, 3 over here. But then if he does that, I'll have a person over here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pop over going 1, 2 with a red action. We're going to just pop that guy over there. And then we're going to spawn next to the officer. Deploy a soldier on a matching adjacent space to this officer. Those are my 2 red actions. So we have that lined up nicely. We can still continue approaching, and we have our person over there. That's that action. Now your action, you are in one of those spaces, almost certainly. 1, 2. You still have a potential C4 in that space, if you did, which does limit my actions to a degree. But I could still try to frustrate you. The question is always how. Because of the fact that if you're here, I could go 1, 2 and pop someone there, which would then definitely limit you, while still slowing you down a bit, potentially, just getting tons of soldiers in the way. I think it's definitely the nice option. 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. How many turns left? We're currently on red, right? Mm-hmm. You are going to have 3 turns left? 3 turns left, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be done with 3. No, you always go first. You took 10, then I took 9. So you just took 4. Mm-hmm. I'm taking 4. You'll take 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 3, 2, 1 are your actions. 1, I'm just playing out some options. I'm not going to tell you what those options are, so I'm going to count in my head. You'll know. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There is no possibility that I can see where you went this way. Because 1, 2, 3, 1, if you're here right now, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's as far as you can go. So you absolutely cannot be going that way. That I can see. Which means I'm going to double down on this part and just hope I'm right. You can't have objective 2. You'd have to be going to 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You don't have the 4, 5 to get further.
All right. I'm running the math. And I don't know that I can make it. But I think I have a pathway. Requires a lot to go right. But we're going to go for it. And hope Alex plays like he normally does, which is worse than what you're seeing him currently.
So I don't see a way where that makes sense. So we're going to pretend that it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then we will go ahead. I could pop that unit in play and close things off. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to pop a unit, spawn my unit, and play over here. That's going to be my other actions over there. So as far as I can see, you're completely closed off, which does leave, just in case, we'll go ahead and move 1, 2 up here with that unit. And then this unit will go 1, 2 over here. And I think we're feeling pretty good about the degree of stuff happening on the board. And it's your turn.
Okay.
You have a shotgun, don't you?
This
is a shotgun weapon where he can just basically kill all adjacent units.
I'm going to go ahead and play
Distraction!
a card.
Nice.
That is going to force you to go...
You have to be in line of sight when...
Yeah.
The enemy unit that moves has to be in line of sight where you are.
1, 2.
So this spot would have to be in line of sight. If you threw a rock there, it has to be in line of sight to
1,
you.
2.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm going to move.
Did anyone hear you move?
They heard me move.
I want to hear more than that. I just know that you heard me move.
Yep. I'm
Okay. You done?
No, I am going to take a shot.
Okay. Seems reasonable.
3. No, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Which one do you kill? So you distracted him and then killed him.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
That's my turn.
So, if they both heard you move, then you could have moved 1, 2, 3.
This has been a very stressful experience so far.
I respect that.
I just want to clarify that.
So 1, 2, 3 is a possibility. You can't move into space, basically. You can't. So it wouldn't have been 1, 2, 3, which means this is off the board if you heard me move. This is still possible. Could have been 1, 2, 3. That's possible. Doesn't really matter. The important thing is this was in some way the spot you moved through. And if that was the spot you moved through and you started here, then you're 1, 2, 3, or 3 as the options. Those are the options where you are if they heard you move, because you can't move into their spaces. So correct me if I'm wrong, my optimal move is to go 1, 2, hit, 1, 2. I can't guarantee all the hits, but I think it's likely on one of those two. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to go 1, 2, and attack the zone.
Miss.
Miss. Okay, that's going to be our 2 yellow actions. Now the red is a possibility as well. You could, as far as I can see, be here or here. I can get to one of those right now. I cannot get to the other. To that end, I will go ahead and move black, and we're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and hit the zone.
There was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. Oh, man.
Is there C4 here?
What? Yes,
okay,
absolutely
okay.
there's C4 here, because it would have kept me alive. What a frustrating game. Let me talk you through what I did, okay? So first off, I pulled, Alex, 3 and 9.
Those are beautiful spots. I love them.
Opposite sides of the board. Terrible draws,
beautiful.
Right? And I, like an idiot, think, we'll start over here. Mm-hmm. As far away from one of my starting zones as possible.
That is pretty brutal. Why not start at 8?
Again, I saw it close to 2.
Okay.
And I thought, hypothetically, you'd get distracted by other areas.
Okay.
I don't know why. I like chaos. I
would
went
have
for something.
had you not picked up the objective.
I just went for something. Well, every zone is next to an objective. It was you doing the math on what would be smart objective plays that completely threw me off.
And having the sniper. The sniper clinched it.
The sniper was so brutal because I got up here and I could have made it here a turn earlier if it weren't for... Like, I was in this cycle where I cannot risk my life because my life only has 1 hit left.
Yes.
So I had to do this dodge route. So like I went up here, I went down here, you caught me again, you caught me there. I was gonna go across this bridge and kill the guy in the way. You freaking found out where I was right there. I murdered someone here because you were talking about me going across this pathway. Yeah. So I was gonna shoot them and run this way. And instead of you heard me shoot and you knew exactly where I was again.
Well, that was likely at that point. You shot.
No, it's not that, like, it should not have been,
So, going back to the beginning, if I recall correctly, if I win this game on camera, I mean, as far as they're concerned, I've won all the games. That's likely what happens.
The math of it.
Absolutely.
That was brutal. I have two feelings. I have two emotions. First off, I want to play again. I need to redeem this. That was terrifying. Second off, just pure strategical shame. I feel like I could have and should have done better. But I like chaos. And sometimes chaos doesn't always work in my favor. First off, this was a blast.
Yes.
Second off, this is not an entirely accurate depiction of the game because I should not be caught so early.
No, I love that.
But the fact that I was able to be identified the entire game and still pose a threat,
yeah,
like, kind of cool.
This is actually an interesting one. We'll talk about it. This is an interesting one in the sense that it has hidden movement, but there's a lot more going on than just finding out where your opponent is.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But there was no... So I was just trying to rush down here. And I don't even know, like...
The math worked out?
I don't even know if the math worked out. If I was able to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 there... 1, 2...
You could have?
I was one step away.
This is turn 3, turn 2, turn 1. Yep.
No matter the math, I was one step away.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no matter what.
That's brutal.
Well, this was fun.
That's
was good.
Brutal. This whole mess just... That was a lot of fun, though. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. If you made it to this point, you better be subscribed or else literally never come back to the channel. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
That's exactly
like, tell them, like, hey...
No,
like,
you want to be as aggressive as possible.
Okay.
If you're aggressive and you threaten them, I hear that it causes more subscribers.
Listen, if you're not subscribed at the moment, I'm not only going to punch you in the throat. I'm going to find where you live, track you down to your local neighborhood, maybe get on a roost in a tree, build a bird nest or something along those lines, and fire horns out of a long semi-automatic rifle, causing gorous, burblous sinew to spurt out of your, let's say, wrist region, right? And then we'll just do slow-mo ball shots that just, like, splinter your testicles into tiny little particulates that, like, splay around the room. Definitely a headshot or two that, like, splinter brain cells into, like, a patch that probably looks like a little bit of Michelangelo's drawings on the wall, but honestly, it's more gruesome and brutal than anything you've ever seen in your life. Not only to stop at that, I'm going to murder you and your family, your children, your loved ones, but more specifically and graphically, your pet. I'm going to shoot your pet through the butthole so that the bullet actually travels up the spinal cord and out of its mouth. I'm going to do so purposefully and viciously. Like, I mean, like, tie your dog to a rack just so it's all in perfect position, go 37 miles away, aim the sniper shot, fire a great shot, one that will actually be shared on YouTube like 27 million times, so that the dog actually gets out one little yip moments before it gruesomely dies.
See, the good news is that can't even be considered a threat because they just watched this gameplay.
Do you know anything about Sniper Elite?
I do. I know exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sniper Elite, for those of you that are sitting there going, what did he just say? Sniper Elite is famous for not only tactical sniper play, but also the most horrific, brutal, like, Mortal Kombat style shots. There is a reason why they included Hitler with his balls shot.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, the only appropriate way to depict Hitler in any game.
Also, I do want to point out, to those of you that were more offended at the dog situation than the murdering of the parents and the family, there's something wrong with you.
Oh, we all love our dogs.
I know.
We love our dogs.
But I just want to point out, there's a priority system at play that is not
Yeah, there's like 87% of people heard the parents thing and went,
they're like, okay.
Reasonable. And then I got to the dog and they're like,
whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Don't hurt Fluffy.
Thank you for... That's what you think a dog's name is?
In this game?
They call them specific names, like sophisticated names, like George.
Fluffy.
George.
Fluffy George.
Sir George III,
The Fluffy.
The fluffiest of all fluffies. Hey, if you made it to this part, real sorry about that gruesome stuff moments before I got into it, you know. And this has been brought to you by Larceny. Bourbon. Alex, judgment call on the bourbon.
Bourbon's been growing on me. I'm not a drinker, but you have been making these drinks, and it has been growing on me. This is not... I don't need another hobby. I don't need another hobby.
You also don't need another gut. Whatever the case, we'll see you next time.